Okay, so let's dive into something pretty fascinating and relevant to a lot of you out there. How the human testis actually changes at the cellular level as we age.
Hmm.
You might think, hey, I'm young. This isn't on my radar yet.
Right.
But trust me, the science here is mind-blowing
Yeah.
and could change how we think about men's health way before you hit middle age.
It's true. This isn't just about dads or grandpas anymore. This research gives us a whole new roadmap for understanding male fertility and aging across the entire lifespan.
Exactly. And the source for this deep dive is hot off the presses, a 2025 paper in Nature Aging. They use this incredible technique called single-cell transcriptome analysis.
Which is essentially taking a census of every single cell in the testes and figuring out which genes are turned on and off in each one.
So it's like having a personalized blueprint for each tiny worker in those sperm factories.
That's a great way to put it.
What's wild is that they use this data with machine learning to actually predict a man's age just from looking at these cell activity patterns.
And what they found was that the supporting cells, the somatic cells, were better age predictors than the germ cells themselves, which are the ones that actually become sperm.
Wait, really? That's kind of counterintuitive. You think the sperm cells would be the ones aging most, obviously.
Right, but it seems aging's effect on the environment of sperm production, the scaffolding, the nutrient supply, the whole ecosystem that might be the real driver here, even more than changes to the sperm cells themselves.
Okay, so the stage crew is showing its age faster than the actors.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty cool way to look at it. But this study didn't stop there. They actually found two distinct waves of aging that happen in the testes.
Exactly. The first wave hits men in their 30s, primarily affecting these peritubular cells, or TPCs. Think of them as the maintenance workers keeping the structure of those tiny sperm-making tubes in good shape.
Got it. So they're like the construction crew keeping the sperm factory running smoothly. What happens during this first wave of aging?
The study found that the basement membrane surrounding these tubes starts to thicken, indicating a change in the extracellular matrix, which is like the scaffolding that supports all those cells.
So like the walls are getting a bit thicker and less flexible. Is that a problem?
It could be. While it might not be a huge deal initially, this thickening could be an early sign of things to come and might impact sperm production as those men get older.
Okay, so that's wave one. What about wave two? When does that crash on the shore, so to speak?
Wave 2 hits a bit later when men are in their 50s, and this one brings some more noticeable changes across different cell types.
Like what kinds of changes? Give us the rundown.
Well, the Leydig cells, which are responsible for pumping out testosterone, start showing altered steroid metabolism.
Ah, so that's why testosterone levels tend to drop as men age. It's not just a myth.
Not at all, and it's not just the hormones. Either the immune cells within the testes, specifically macrophages, also start to change. They show signs of increased inflammation.
Inflammation that can't be good.
Right. While more research is needed to understand the full implications, it hints at a possible link between aging and inflammation in the reproductive system.
So things are getting a bit creaky and a bit inflamed. Anything else we need to know about this second wave of aging?
There is Sertoli cells, which are responsible for nourishing and supporting the developing sperm. Also show changes. They're not as efficient at transporting nutrients and sending signals, which means the sperm might not be getting the same level of support as they did before.
It's like the catering and coaching staff for the sperm are getting a bit tired.
Yeah.
They're still there, but they're not quite as on point as they used to be.
That's a great way to put it. And it's not just these specific cell types. Remember those germ cells, the actual cells that will become sperm, they age too, although in a different way.
Okay, let's talk about those germ cells, especially the ones that are further along in their development. They don't follow those dramatic waves we were just talking about, right?
Right. They don't. The aging process in haploid germ cells, specifically the ones that directly become sperm, seems to be more gradual and cumulative, like a slow buildup of wear and tear.
So like a car that slowly starts needing more and more repairs as the miles add up.
Exactly. And those repairs might not be happening as efficiently as they used to. The study found some pretty significant changes in gene expression in round and elongating spermatids, which are later stage haploid germ cells.
So what kinds of genes are we talking about here? What are they doing?
These changes affect the genes involved in some pretty crucial processes for healthy sperm motility development and even DNA repair.
Hold on, DNA repair in sperm. That sounds like a big deal. Why is that so important?
Well, it suggests a potential link between aging and sperm quality. As these DNA repair mechanisms become less efficient, the risk of errors or mutations in the sperm's DNA increases.
So it's not just about the number of swimmers. It's about how well equipped they are for the journey, genetically speaking.
Precisely. And the study suggests that this decline in sperm quality happens gradually rather than suddenly hitting a wall at a certain age.
So it's less like falling off a cliff and more like a slow, steady decline.
Yeah.
Kind of makes you think twice about putting things off.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of things that can impact this decline, we can't forget about the role of body mass index, or BMI.
Okay, I knew we'd get to BMI. Eventually, everyone's always talking about it. So how does that tie into all this testicular aging business?
The research found that even in younger men, a higher BMI is associated with lower sperm counts, which could indicate subfertility.
Interesting. So even if you're young and think you're in the clear, carrying extra weight could be impacting your fertility.
So that's what the data suggests. But here's the kicker. For men over 40, high BMI seems to amplify the effects of aging on the testes.
Wait, so it's like turning up the volume on all those age-related changes we were just talking about?
You got the changes observed in men with a high BMI often mirror the age-related changes we see in older men, almost like fast-forwarding the aging process.
Okay, now that is concerning. So it's not just age. It's age plus lifestyle factors like BMI that are working together here.
Exactly. This finding raises some important questions about how those lifestyle choices can influence male reproductive aging.
Well, it's not just about genetics and the passage of time. We have some agency here, which is kind of empowering.
Absolutely. And the more we understand about these cellular and molecular changes, the more we can empower men to make informed decisions about their reproductive health throughout their lifespan.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground here already. We've got those two ways of aging, hitting those somatic cells, the slow and steady decline of the germ cells themselves, and this whole BMI factor that can speed things up.
We have. And before I move on, there's one more piece of this research that's pretty interesting, especially for those of you who are digging deeper into biology, the role of transposable elements, or TEs.
Okay, TEs, those don't ring a bell. Break it down for us. What are those?
Think of them like little jumping genes, pieces of DNA that can actually move around within the genome.
Jumping genes. Okay, now that has my attention. What do they have to do with testicular aging?
Well, the study found that certain TEs become more active in the testes as men get older, particularly in those later stage haploid germ cells, those round and elongating spermatids we were talking about.
So these jumping genes are getting a bit more restless with age. Is that a problem?
It can be. While TEs have their role in normal cellular processes when they get too active, they've been linked to a whole bunch of age-related issues like DNA damage and genomic instability.
Ah, so they're like little troublemakers potentially messing up the genetic code in those developing sperm.
That's a good analogy. And remember how we talked about those DNA repair mechanisms becoming less efficient with age? Well, these overactive TEs could be making their job even harder, further impacting sperm quality.
So it's like a double whammy. Aging slows down the repair crew, and then these jumping genes come along and make their job even tougher.
You've got it. It's a fascinating and complex interplay between aging and these mobile genetic elements, and it adds another layer to our understanding of male fertility.
This is blowing my mind. I mean, who knew there was so much going on down there at the cellular level?
Right.
It's like a whole microscopic universe. But it also makes you wonder if we can identify the specific genes and pathways involved in these age-related changes.
Yeah.
Could we develop targeted therapies to counteract them? Could we, in essence, slow down or even reverse the effects of testicular aging?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And that's what makes this research so groundbreaking. It opens up entirely new avenues for exploration and potential interventions.
Imagine a future where men can proactively take steps to protect their reproductive health, not just react to problems as they arise. It's like taking preventative maintenance on your most vital asset.
I like that analogy. And just as we wouldn't wait for a car to break down before changing the oil, we shouldn't wait for signs of age-related decline before taking care of our reproductive health.
So what does this all mean for our listeners? What are the practical takeaways from this deep dive?
Well, first and foremost, knowledge is power. Understanding the biological realities of testicular aging allows you to make informed decisions about your health. It's about being proactive, not reactive.
Right. Don't just assume everything will be fine. Educate yourself, talk to your doctor, and consider lifestyle factors that can influence your reproductive health, like maintaining a healthy weight and avoiding smoking.
Absolutely. And if you are experiencing any concerns related to fertility or reproductive health, don't hesitate to seek professional help. Early intervention is key.
Okay, so to recap, we've learned that the aging process in the testes is a lot more complex than we might have thought. It's not just about things slowing down. It's about changes in the cellular environment, inflammation, and even those jumping genes wreaking havoc.
And we've also learned that this aging process isn't set in stone. Lifestyle factors like BMI can play a significant role, and there's a lot of potential for future therapies that could target these specific age-related changes.
This is giving me a whole new perspective on men's health.
Yeah.
It's not just about treating symptoms as they pop up. It's about understanding the underlying processes and taking proactive steps to maintain reproductive health throughout our lives.
I couldn't agree more. This research is a real game changer, and it's exciting to think about the possibilities it opens up for the future of male reproductive health.
Absolutely. So as researchers delve deeper into these findings, we can expect even more groundbreaking discoveries in the years to come. But for now, let's shift gears a bit and talk about one of the most surprising findings in the study, the impact of BMI on testicular aging. We touched on it earlier, but I think it deserves a closer look.
You're right, this was a particularly interesting part of the research because it showed just how much lifestyle factors can influence the aging process in the testes. They found that for men over 40 with a BMI over 30, the rate of testicular aging is accelerated by as much as 5 years.
Wait, hold on. Did you say 5 years? That's huge?
Yeah.
So carrying extra weight is like fast-forwarding the aging clock in your testes?
That's what the data suggests. It's not just about sperm count either. The study found that men with a higher BMI also had changes in the expression of genes involved in inflammation hormone production and even DNA repair, all those things we were talking about earlier.
It was like high BMI is amplifying all those negative effects of aging that we've been discussing.
Yeah.
That's a pretty compelling reason to stay in shape.
It is, and it really highlights the interconnectedness of our overall health and our reproductive health. It's not just about looking good or feeling good. It's about protecting your fertility and your long-term reproductive well-being.
This is making me think about all the guys out there, especially younger guys, who might not be thinking about their reproductive health just yet. They might be focused on their careers, their social lives, building their lives. But this research suggests that it's never too early to start thinking about these things.
You're absolutely right. We tend to think of male fertility as something that just naturally declines with age. But this research shows that lifestyle factors can have a huge impact, and the choices we make in our 20s and 30s can have long-lasting consequences.
It's like investing in your future fertility, just like you'd invest in your retirement or your health in general.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be investing in your reproductive health too, and that means paying attention to your weight, your diet, your overall lifestyle.
Exactly. And it's not about being perfect or obsessing over every little detail. It's about making conscious choices that support your long-term health and well-being, and that includes your reproductive health.
This is all so fascinating. I feel like we could talk about this for hours, but unfortunately we're running out of time before we wrap up. I want to circle back to something we touched on earlier, the potential for future therapies to address testicular aging. Is this something that's on the horizon, or is it still in the realm of science fiction?
It's definitely an area of active research, and there's a lot of excitement about the possibilities. We're starting to understand the specific molecular mechanisms involved in testicular aging, and that opens up new avenues for potential interventions.
So instead of just treating the symptoms of age-related decline like low testosterone, could we actually target the root causes of the problem?
Exactly. Imagine a future where we could develop therapies to protect those peritubular cells from thickening or boost the activity of those Leydig cells to maintain testosterone levels, or even develop ways to calm down those jumping genes and prevent them from causing DNA damage.
That would be incredible. It would be like hitting the reset button on testicular aging.
Yeah.
But realistically, how far off are we from these kinds of therapies?
It's hard to say for sure. Scientific breakthroughs can happen quickly, but it's also important to be realistic. Developing safe and effective therapies takes time, rigorous research, and clinical trials. But I'm optimistic that we'll see significant progress in this area in the coming years.
That's encouraging to hear. And in the meantime, there are things men can do right now to support their reproductive health, like we talked about earlier. Maintaining a healthy weight, eating a balanced diet, getting regular exercise, and avoiding smoking can all make a big difference.
Absolutely. Those lifestyle factors are crucial. And don't underestimate the power of staying informed and talking to your doctor. The more you know about your own health and the more you advocate for yourself, the better equipped you'll be to make informed decisions.
This has been such an eye-opening deep dive.
Yeah.
I feel like we've only scratched the surface of this fascinating topic, but I think we've given our listeners a good foundation for understanding the complexities of testicular aging and the importance of taking proactive steps to protect their reproductive health.
I agree, and I hope this conversation has sparked some curiosity and encouraged our listeners to learn more about this important aspect of men's health.
It definitely has, and I think it's important to remember that this research isn't just about men's health. It's about reproductive health in general. It takes two to tango, as they say.
Right.
And understanding how the male side of the equation ages can have implications for family planning and fertility treatments.
Absolutely. This research could lead to new ways to assess male fertility more accurately, which could be a game changer for couples struggling to conceive it. Could also inform the development of new fertility treatments that are tailored to the specific needs of older men.
So this is really pushing the boundaries of reproductive medicine. It's not just about treating infertility. It's about understanding the aging process and potentially extending the reproductive lifespan.
Exactly. And that brings up some interesting ethical and societal questions as well. If we can slow down or even reverse testicular aging,
Well,
what are the implications for family structures, population dynamics, and even social norms?
those are some big questions. It's like science fiction becoming reality. We're talking about potentially altering the very fabric of human existence.
It's true, and it underscores the importance of having open and honest conversations about these issues. Scientists, ethicists, policymakers, and the public all need to be involved in shaping the future of reproductive technology.
It's a reminder that scientific advancements don't happen in a vacuum. They have real-world consequences that we need to consider carefully.
Absolutely, and as we delve deeper into the mysteries of testicular aging, we need to do so with a sense of responsibility and a commitment to using this knowledge for the betterment of humanity.
Well said. I think that's a perfect note to end on. This has been an incredible deep dive, and I feel like we've all learned a lot today, not just about the science, but about the ethical and societal implications as well.
I agree. It's been a fascinating journey into the microscopic world of the human testes, and it's clear that there's still much more to discover. But one thing's for sure, this research is changing the way we think about male reproductive health, and it's opening up exciting new possibilities for the future.
I can't wait to see what the future holds. Until next time, keep those brains buzzing, and remember, knowledge is power.